Okay, so before we move on to our next section here, before we put that the last part in, I want to talk to you about what you need for your ragtop. Sometimes you might buy a bug that is missing some of the ragtop mechanism, the sliders and whatnot. So, you know, they don't sell they don't sell the sliders or the mechanism. I at least haven't been able to find them new. You can find them used, and they go for a pretty hefty price. So anyways, but they do sell the aluminum rails. BFY sells those. But what I want to talk to you about is what we're doing here. Just make sure, this is what you're going to need. Here's the rear bow, and we painted this on one side, and this rear bow, this goes in the back of the car. You're going to make sure you're going to need this plate, and this plate has a lip on it. I don't know if you can see that here. See that lip? Yeah, that lip is going to be attached to here. That goes on this rear bow, so you're going to need those two. If you don't have this piece of metal, this piece right here, you can probably make one. But we started painting the bows just to clean them up. You don't really see this, but we just kind of paint them up anyway to make it look a little bit nicer. And for the actual, the ragtop material in general can glue to this a little bit better and slide on it or whatever. So, like I said, you're going to need these rails. There are 4 pieces. You got 2 long ones, and then these little ones. Now, when you take your ragtop off, say you get the car and you want to take the ragtop assembly off, these little pieces in the back, towards the back of the car, they would come off first. You unscrew them, they would come off first, and then that's how you can take out the ragtop assembly. You just slide it all the way back. You can't take it off any other way. That's the best way to do it. Is you push the ragtop up, and then you can just take these back pieces off, and then you can slide it back. So what we're going to do is with these aluminum pieces, we're going to get some Brillo pad and just a regular, you know, cleaner, or you can get some metal or aluminum cleaner, and you can scrub these off. Just make sure after you finish cleaning these to wash your hands, because your hands are going to get dirty, and you do not want to touch the ragtop, the headliner material. So you're going to need those. There's 4 pieces for those. You can actually buy these if you do not have them. Okay, and then for 56 to 63 bugs, it was a 2-fold ragtop, and this is what we're working on. And these are the pieces you have, the main pieces. You have the back bow, then you have the front mechanism bow, the big one. This is the one that closes and then opens the assembly. You might find them a lot of times. They're missing rollers here. These usually stay on without a problem. See those rollers? But these on the ends, they usually come off. I don't know if you can see that here. What they sell is they have a kit, a ragtop assembly kit, and you can get one of those for 56 to 63 bucks. They sell these. If you can't find these, most of the time, like I said, it's these 4 in here in the center that go missing. You could actually go to your local hardware store and get these nylon rollers. They sell those if you can't find this kit. But once again, we started painting these black. We polished off the aluminum a little bit here. Started painting the bows, paint all this black. You know, so when you spray the spray glue on there, it'll just adhere to it better. And before you spray it, just make sure you sand it down a little bit, get some of the loose rust or dirt on it, off of it, and then you can just spray it black. So. And then this is the mechanism, to take this handle off, it's just like the door handles on the early bugs. There's a little hole in here that has a pin in it that holds this on. You're going to need just a little nail, a long nail that's small in thickness, and then you're going to just want to drive that pin out of this so you can take the handle out, and then you'll see there should be a spring in there. I'll show it to you. We're going to take it off in a second. Okay, continuing on here, just describing what you need. I forgot to mention too, this is the big bow that is for the front. This attaches to this big mechanism on top, and this is going to slide into the header part of your ragtop. I'll show you how to do that. And you see here, there's like a seal on here. It's kind of cruddy, so we're going to probably take this off with a scraper. And I have some new material you can use to put on a new weather stripping material you could just get at your local hardware store. And it's about, I don't know, 1/2 inch in thickness, and you just kind of put it all the way around the perimeter of the bow, the outside perimeter. And I'll show you what that's for anyway. The other thing I want to point out is on these mechanisms here, there's pins. See this pin? This one's actually busted. This is the pin that goes into this section in here. I don't know if you can see that. See this? See that hole right here? This pin goes in there, and this holds down the bow. A lot of times they're either missing or they're broken. This one we had was actually frozen in, and we couldn't get it out. So what we had to do was we had to take the one side of the bow off, the header bow, so we could at least get it off a little. And then we basically just got a drill, and we drilled out the back end where the threads are sticking, because you can't screw down this way. I don't know if you can see that. Down this way, because you got this long shaft to drill through. You won't be able to do that. So on the other side where there's just a short end of threads, it's maybe like a 1/4 inch in thickness of threads that stick up from this little dowel type screw here. So we drilled that out, and then what we did was we tapped new threads that were 6mm threads, and we were able to tap through and get it out. So what you do is, if you can't find these, sometimes they're, like I said, they're either missing or they're they're frozen in there. But if they're missing and you can't find these to buy, you can make your own. We got here, a 6mm bolt, and then you can get some copper tubing to actually slide over this, and then so you have it looking like a dowel type screw here, and then that copper tubing will be able to slide through the mechanism that you need. I mean, they do. I think BFY sells these if you did want to get them. So that's an option there. If you have any questions, just give me a holler. But all right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to clean this off, and I'm going to show you a couple things. We're going to take this handle off, and I'm going to paint this, get it nice and clean. And you see there's teeth here, there's grippers, just like we had in the Ragtop, that hold the headliner in here. There's a plastic strip, just like in the car, holds this plastic strip in. And then what's going to happen is the headliner is going to wrap over these screws and over this section where the handle goes. And what I do is I put some more foam down here. And you're going to want to do that like we were doing, like the padding, the carpet type padding, because you don't want the headliner to go over these screws, because you're going to wind up seeing the screw heads through the headliner, and it's going to look bumpy. So we'll put some padding on that to cover those, to cover the imperfections there. Because you want the headliner to look nice and clean and straight. So, all right, so let's get to work. Just got to hammer this pin out. Drive that out, back end. Oop. Collar. And then you need this as another piece. This goes on top, of course, so try to remember how it goes. And there's your spring. It's good to put these in a can if you got a can nearby. With this handle, what we're going to wind up doing is just, again, get some Brillo and clean all this oxidized look off of it, and just use a cleaner. That should shine up nice. It's a little pitted, but we're still going to use this one. Just going to tape up the catch here. I don't want to paint it black or anything. If you want to clean that off too, you can. Just going to Just tape that up. Before I do any sort of painting or whatnot, I'm just going to open up these grippers and take out the old, part of the old headline is still caught in there, if you can see here. See that? Just got to take that out. Good old screwdriver. Careful with them, they might bust because they might be kind of weak. Just a little bit, you got to open it, that's all.
Okay, so all I'm doing right now is just, I got a wire brush that you can pick up at a hardware store. They're pretty common. And just basically scraping off all the loose rust. And then if you don't have an air machine, just basically go get those computer air cans to blow off dust and blow off all the loose rust and wipe it down. And then just a basic gloss black paint to paint over the bow. It just adheres to glue better when it's when you have nice shiny paint on there. And then I'm taking off this old spongy seal that's also at the front header bow. We're going to put our own seal on there. We'll basically use a Weatherstrip seal that you can pick up at a hardware store. It's sticky on one side and it's spongy.